In this video, I want to show you how I'm using Suno AI to generate my songs. Not the songs that you could write by just typing in lyrics and the style and some levels of prompting, rather really the songs that I compose with the chords and the melodies that I wrote, and feeding it into Suno process so that then you can actually manipulate the song and try different things and get inspired, and the advantages about that. Be sure to stay until the end of the video because that's where the most interesting part is, but I first need to explain how I got there and why. So all of this has been made possible by a feature that has been added relatively recently, which is the cover feature. So if you click next to song here and remix, you have a cover functionality here. And why I came to this was, well, apparently you can have Suno remix a song, right? So I wanted to remix one of my songs or one of my voices, one of my melodies, and see what happened. So the first thing that I did was to go back actually and take Another Day of Hope. This is a song that I wrote when I was 15. So it's a long time ago on a 4-track machine. Let me play it for you so that then you can see what Suno does to the song. This is the original song.
Sun is rising over the clear blue sea. It's going to eat all the ground below. Birds are awaking, look and you will see. Sun is going to eat all the grass that grows. Another day of hope is starting.
Okay, so here it is. This is an original song. This is not a song produced by Suno. Just let me be very clear. This comes from the fact that you can actually upload a full song here and then have it in your library. So this has nothing to do with anything that Suno would generate, and that's why there's a source tag here in the file name. So what I did was, okay, can I just try this cover? And I did, and for the sake of not waiting during this video, here's the generated song. And a couple of things that I want you to notice is the fact that I'm using tags which correspond to the song. So I'm not asking it to change the style. I just wanted to see, can it record the song better, apply some considerations based on models and existing songs, and what happens? This is the result. So I found this absolutely fascinating, and it of course keeps the chord progression. But there are two things that are important here. The first thing is that it's really picking up on the details. Like there's the guitar in the original song, which is this doo 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 doo, and it did keep that. There's also a little bell that replies to my singing in the original song. So if I go back here, I can show it to you. Here.
Sun is rising over the clear blue sea.
And this little bell is actually kept in the cover. So it has been kept, and instead of having a bell, it translated it to something that it deemed more reasonable for the overall sound. The second thing that happened is that the original intro was way longer than it should have been. And so the model has identified that the intro should be actually half of it. And this is probably due to the fact that most radiophonic songs and the style have to hit a refrain before the minute, or at least they used to have this kind of necessity when there was a refrain. Sometimes nowadays we don't even have a refrain. So these are the two things that have happened, and that the model introduced, so extremely detailed, picking up on details. And the second one is actually modifying it and shortening it and doing all that. But it's very respectful because I asked it to keep the same style, basically. But now suddenly, something that I recorded in 1987 on a 4-track machine, I can hear it at a totally different level. Like the sound, the production, and it's a very interesting start. This is just like, I'm still talking about boilerplate here to get to where I want to get, but just to show you already what are the possibilities. This is entirely my song, right? The structure, the lyrics. By the way, I didn't even write those lyrics. Those lyrics were automatically understood by Suno when I uploaded the file. So I said, okay, this is a 1987 song whose source is already pretty bad. I wanted to try something different, like more EDM, like a little bit more contemporary. And I had this old prototype of about 10 years ago that I wrote called Music from the Stars. You can see here also I'm labeling it with source so that I don't confuse. And I'm going to play it to you. You're going to see like the volumes are not mixed right. It's not a finished song, but there's a structure, and there's a classic structure where you've got an intro, a singing part, slowing down for the preparation, a build up, and then the drop, right? And this is the idea of Music from the Stars. I'm going to play it for you. This, again, not Suno product. This is me recording a little prototype. Like the music from the stars, you came to me here. Danced all night to the summer sounds, waving like the sea. The flaming lips you gave to me here, surrounded by the lights of the alien towns, like the music from the stars, like the music from the stars. Music from the stars. Okay, you get the gist. As I said, it's a classic EDM, big room stylish, if you want, in the style of Tomorrowland, I wish. But yeah, that's the direction it goes. So what I did, again, was like, can you just cover me this song? And I put in the tags of EDM and big room, which is exactly the style that I was looking for. And this is what I got. I did multiple tries, so this is the first try. Like the music from the stars, you came to me. We danced all night to the summer sounds, waving like the sea. The flaming lips you gave to me, surrounded by the lights of the alien towns, like the music from the stars, like the music from the stars. So it did its own version. It still have like the same structure. Has shortened it again. It's like 32 seconds to actually reach the drop. I find it somehow interesting, not necessarily very different from what I did, but the production is also more interesting. Nothing really much to add to here. But like I tried multiple versions and I did get different taste, different flavors, different possibilities, which is another thing that is interesting from Suno. I get proposed different things, which I can then choose from and get inspired from. For example, this one is way more dark and it has a little intro to it. I'm going to play it for you.
Like the music from the stars, you came to me. We danced all night to the summer sounds, waving like the sea. The flaming lips you gave to me, surrounded by the lights of the alien towns. Like the music from the stars, like the music from the stars. Like the music from the stars. Like the music from the stars.
I find this one way more interesting. There are also different chords progressions a little bit here and there. And again, all the details are in there, the plug synthesizer, the melodies, the lyrics, but it has changed the overall mood, which to me is very interesting. Now, I just kept these two, but there were a lot more variations. So I said to myself, okay, this takes me to this level where I can actually get suggestions from Suno on my songs, record them a little better, and see what happens, and see if I get inspired or not. And so I said, well, what if I really want to radically, change the style? Not necessarily that radically yet. So I asked it, well, can you go in the synthwave? Like, how would it, just as an experiment, what would happen if I asked it to play synthwave? And it gave me this.
Like the music from the stars, you came to me. We danced all night to the summer sounds, waving like the sea. The flaming lips you gave to me, surrounded by the lights of the alien towns. Like the music from the stars. Like the music from the stars. Like the music from the stars.
So something interesting happens here is that the song is originally written with progression which is typical of EDM. And Suno is trying its best to put this, different style in a song that is written for a different structure. And for example, like this build up and this little snare there don't really make any sense in synthwave. And it's stretching it, it's trying it, its best, and it's doing some very interesting things, but it's not getting there, which is okay. It's just an experiment. But that got me thinking, okay, I'm giving a structure, I'm giving a song, I'm giving, chords, I'm giving plug synthesizer. So I'm giving a lot of instructions. And my hypothesis at this point was, well, what if I strip that all out and keep all the song part that I'm really interested into, like a melody and chord progression, or maybe a specific bass, just those parts that I'm really interested in keeping, no matter the variation of a song. So to test this hypothesis, I took a song recorded by a good friend of mine, Andrea de Begnac. And the song is called Africa. And here again is a song that I've uploaded, you see source, and it's just him playing on a guitar over a tick. You can actually still hear the tick. This is Africa. It's sung in Italian, and you're going to be amazed what we can do with this.
Africa, avevi, avevi le mani d'Africa, tu eri un continente misterioso, tutto da scoprire. A mano e a mano amerò. Africa.
So this is the original song, just a guitar and voice. There are no like indications much on, I mean, there's a style, of course, but it's less structured in the beginning. It's just voice and guitar. And since the very beginning, when my friend played the song for me some years ago, I had in my head that this could be a big band song, you know? Something like that. And I wanted to actually record it for him, and I never got to do it because, of course, it's it's a task. And so when Suno came along with this, I said, this is my chance. I'm going to actually ask Suno to play this as a big band, which is what I did here. Though I was expecting a different kind of big band, like a more recent one, maybe 1950s or 60s. Instead, it gave me a couple of decades before that. This is what it gave me, and I think it's amazing.
Africa, avevi le mani d'Africa, tu eri un continente misterioso, tutto da scoprire, a mano amerò, Africa.
Can you just imagine like how I was able to go from just a guitar to this big bang, right? It opens up a world of possibilities. Just for this, like instantly trying something. It's not exactly what I wanted, of course, because I wanted a 1960s, kind of like big band. But still, like it surprised me, and it gives me possible directions of where I can go. So the next thing I tried insisting on, well, no, can you give me a smooth jazz big band with, muted trumpet and all that? I wanted to keep the muted trumpet. And I'm going to state the obvious here because I've said it already, but it is keeping the structure, the chord progression, the little details, as long as they do match the style that you're asking it to do, right? Otherwise, it can actually drop a little bits of pieces or just stretch it a little too much, as we saw in the synthwave. So now I asked smooth jazz. This is what it gave to me. It has nothing to do with a jazz big bang, and I'm going to let you hear it first.
Africa, avevi le mani d'Africa, tu eri un continente misterioso, tutto da scoprire, a mano amerò.
Africa, avevi.
So this time the model picked up on the lyrics, right? It picked up on Africa as a title and, in general, the mysterious continent here that you can see in the lyrics and all that. And it almost ignored, it actually did ignore my tags, which is fine. By the way, this was still V4. Now there's V4.5 that is out. But the principle applies. So it gives me traditional African music voices. I'm generalizing, of course. Africa is a huge continent with a variety of different styles. But this is kind of way of singing, which is very close to traditional African music. So I kept on going. I could not stop there. What I did was again, the guitar, the way that my friend played the guitar somehow reminded me of koras. You know, the African instrument. It's a harp lute, and I wanted to hear. Well, you know, if we have to go in the African direction, which is what Suno tried showing me, why don't we go full in and try, for example, like asking for traditional koras? And this is what it gave me.
Africa, avevi le mani d'Africa, tu eri un continente misterioso, tutto da scoprire.
I'm gonna stop it right there. While I do find it interesting, we are back into a situation where the style is pretty much stretching and trying to fit in this song inside of a traditional chorus kind of style that I asked it to. For example, you see that the chord progression is completely gone. Right? The melody is still there, but the chord progression is just gone, because that's the way that you play chorus in general. You've got like a loop of chords which are relatively linked together, but you don't start playing like you would normally on a different instrument in general. So I said, okay, let's try something else. I'm going to ask traditional African music from Mali. I became very specific. I like the music from Mali. I like a lot of different music, but the music from Mali as something specific to me. And so I said, well, let's try that. Here it is.
Africa, avevi le mani da Africa, tu eri un continente misterioso, tutto da scoprire, a mano a mano, a mano amerò. Africa.
And now we're back into something that actually makes sense. And stop thinking for a moment what we are just doing here, right? We are starting from a guitar chord progression with a voice on top of that, which is a song that a friend of mine wrote, and they are trying different styles and declinations and seeing how the song would look like in different, possibilities. Trying this without an AI means, of course, having to record all of these, having the instruments, knowing how to play the instruments, or knowing somebody who does, or programming them, but they wouldn't sound that good, and so on and so forth. And if you go back to 1986, when Paul Simon, for example, started, mixing African music with Graceland, you see the effort that takes. It's also, of course, a different personal growth experience, and it's sharing with real life people, musicians, which, of course, here there are ethical questions, right? Like the musicians back then were really clear that it was a give and take situation between them and Paul Simon. It wasn't like a musician coming in and robbing them from their music. So there are ethical implications when using AI. I'm absolutely aware of that, and I'm trying to avoid having them in this video because I'm just trying to show the power of an instrument. AI is coming. It's here. It has been here, and it will improve at a very, very fast pace, and so we cannot just ignore it. And of course, some people will not want it. That's totally fine. I'm hoping to provide a little, way to use this as an additional utility, additional weapon to your, to your capabilities in terms of like a songwriter. All right, that said, so impressive. We are able to hear the song of my friend as it would have been played in traditional African Mali music. All right, so this takes me to the next step. It's like, okay, So let's rewind a little bit and let's get to the meat and core, which I think is even more interesting. We started from just having the same song but replayed by Suno with some differences. Then we moved to different styles, and we realized that by stripping out all the things that we didn't want, like that were structured in a song, like plug synthesizer and whatnot, and just give him voice on a guitar, we could actually apply it to multiple styles. So the next step was, of course, doing what many musicians, songwriters do, which is you have an idea, you take your phone or a recording device, and you record the melody that you know at that exact moment in time, because you know that melody will be gone if you don't record it. And so that's what you do. And I tried different variations of that. Just the voice, then the voice plus me overdubbing my own voice with sounds to simulate drums and bass and to give an idea of the chords, and then finally actually recording this little song in a very prototypal way, and seeing what this would mean for the LLM. So that's the bulk of the experiment, my idea. So I just recorded this thing. If you want me, the lyrics are just LLM lyrics, and this is actually a refrain. It's very short. This is how it sounds like. And I wanted to do a reggae, a 1970s reggae. And so I wrote this little, refrain. Oops, wrong one, sorry. This one here. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. So this is what I recorded, right? I had this idea for a refrain, and as usual, when I upload this, I get the lyrics written down for me. I didn't write those, and given that there's only this little part, the LLM interpreted as a verse, which is fine. To me, it was a refrain, but of course, I haven't given a full song, just a bit of it. And so by using this, I give it to the LLM. I specified I wanted a 1970s reggae, slow, and I want it to be lo-fi. So the quality of the sound that you're going to hear is actually reduced because it followed my indications of having lo-fi. So the recording are a little bit, not crispy. They're dirty. They really are. So this is just by giving this melody to the LLM, it will start building chords, progression, and adding it and try to convert it to a song. This is the 4.5. This is what happens.
If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so.
Okay, I can stop here. Later on, it goes on and actually does add the background vocals, which respond in the melody. The interesting thing to me was these are exactly the chords that I had in my head. Like, I didn't tell it to play these chords, but it did, which first glance means that my song is really not original. Like, there's no surprise in there to a point that the AI understood what I wanted. Of course, you can understand the tonality of a song, but those exact chord progression, these exact usage of two chords surprised me. So I took it to the next level, which is like, okay, I only given you a little bit. Now, many times as a musician, you have an idea for a hook or a refrain, And you don't necessarily know what kind of line and verse to put in there or structures. And this is where I said to myself, okay, what if I give exact lyrics of what I recorded in my little input file, but then added additional verse lyrics? Will the LLM understand that it should use my bit, my recorded bit, just for the refrain and do the verses and, more, freely, and see if we can get to a song? So what I did was I added a longer text in this song here. And again, is LLM generated. Don't pay attention, not even to a song. Like, this is a very simple song. And so I added additional text. And if I click on here, you're going to hear it.
Babylon try to twist up the truth, selling fear to the minds of the youth. But I see through the smoke and disguise. With your love I be open eyes. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame. So if you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame. So if you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame. So if you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame. So them a fight, but we rise up still.
So I got myself a song, right? And it did work. Like, the part that I was interested in, so the refrain, it understood that it should move to the refrain, and it understood that it had to do verses around that, which I think, from a musician's standpoint, is like having a companionship you can pair with, right? I've got this refrain, can you add? Happens all the time in the music industry, right? Is like when you have like an idea for a hook, and then the song gets completed and reworked with other people potentially, or by yourself. So this allows to get more ideas. And you probably have noticed that the chord progression we had before is actually used in the verse, and it went really more interesting into a refrain. So I said to myself, okay, I only gave a melody. What if I give more indication on the general mood of drums, and maybe add in, it's just me singing a bass, because I want to ensure that the chords that I want are the one that get used. So I did this thing here. Michael Jackson did this. I'm far from doing anything even remotely close to Michael Jackson, but he did use his voice to convey the feeling of the mood of a song that he wanted, because he couldn't play. So a musician could actually play what he wanted. And this is my attempt into providing, voice and a voice background, I call it, and this is how it sounds like. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame. So if you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame. So if you want me to call your name. So I gave here a more specific way of triplets on the drums, and also the chord progression, and also the style of bass with the kind of moving chords. And so I tried it again, and this time this is what it gave me.
Selling fear to the minds of the youth. But I see through the smoke and disguise. With your love I'll be opening eyes. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, like a flame. So if you want me to call your name.
Okay, I I said triplets, I didn't mean triplets. I meant the usage of a hi-hat, including the open hi-hat, which wasn't there in the previous ones, if I recall correctly. But like, it is following more and more my indications as I add more elements to it. So this is the trick, right? And so I'm controlling what Suno gives me by just giving the elements that I needed. There's something that I still didn't like. I mean, the bass was more spaced, which is how I sang it, but it wasn't still following the fact that in my bass, I wanted a little downscale as in the beginning. So I did record that. And yes, I recorded a full song with all the chords and all of that. And this is where exactly you can understand how you can start playing. I could have just put my voice with the bass. Instead, I went full in and recorded, again, this very simple prototype in probably 20 minutes or something like this. And this is how the song that I originally intended, so you're going to see that the chord progression was that one, sounded like in my head. Again, very low quality. Here it is. Again, wrong one. This one. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, light the flame so. If you want me to call. So the only addition here is, well, all the rest of the instruments that are real one, but I was specifically interested in this bass that goes down on the beat. And I wanted to see if the AI would pick on that, expecting it to, but I wanted to see, and this is what it gave me.
Light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame. Light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, no shame. Light the flame so. If you want me to call your name, feel no shame, no shame. Light the flame so.
Okay, there's way too much reverb in this recording, but again, my fault because I asked it to do lo-fi. But you see the progression, right? Just by singing. So when you have an idea, just by singing it and uploading it to Suno, and you can start playing with styles. And the whole thing that I'm saying here is that basically this is how I think the tool can be extremely valuable for a musician. You can try different instrumentations, different structures. It will guide you through standardizing the styles, like the fact I had an intro of 20 seconds that became 5, which is what I would have done nowadays, but I was 15 back then, and I liked the intro, probably. And so by just giving it the specifics of what you want, that you cannot give up, like I want this exact melody, sorry. I want this exact bass. I want this little bell there to reply to my singing. If you just give the exact things that you want, those are going to be mostly respected and translated into a new song. Anything you don't add is where you've got the freedom to play with the prompts and basically see whatever happens in the tool. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you today. I hope you liked the video. It's probably a little long, but if you reached this point, thank you for staying with me.